We're in day 2 of the government shutdown. Join us now with where the administration stands on the latest. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Scott, it helps to, Mr. Secretary, it helps to have seen the moon landing, doesn't it? I mean, isn't there something beneficial about having some experience in life, or is it me?
Joe, I find good to be with you, and Becky, I find wisdom's good. I remember when my dad got me up early in the morning to watch the moon landing. So I think I was 7 years old.
I know. Then we, unlike some other people, we know it actually happened and that the flag wasn't waving.
I wasn't there. I didn't see it, but I believe it.
Okay. This Secretary, day 2. I guess I'll start with what we're hearing from OMB or at least rumors of possible real action taken to do some things permanently during this shutdown within the next 48 hours or so. Can you shed any light on whether that's really going to happen, or was it a bargaining chip for Republicans to get Democrats to agree to keep the government open?
Well, Joe, let's just step back for a minute and look how we got here. Chuck Schumer did the right thing in the spring and led the Senate to a clean CR. What we've got here is the House they have passed a clean CR. The Republicans have the votes in the Senate, and he will not allow his members to come across. And what's changed since then is it's his poll numbers. So the president, Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, they're not negotiating with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. They're negotiating with Representative Ocasio-Cortez because she's nipping at his heels. And, so the American people are being held hostage by Chuck Schumer's poll numbers. And, we're starting to see some of the very few moderate members left in the Democratic Party in the Senate drift toward wanting a solution. Chuck Schumer's blocking it. When I look at Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, straight out of Brooklyn, makes me glad that I left New York in 2020. And your question about the shutdown, this is a choice that Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have made. And if they want to shut the government down, then there are ramifications.
I'm just wondering, do you think that there is it more than just bargaining then? Would the president, would Russ Vought, would they like to do some, I mean, they've already pulled back on some, on some funding in some blue states for, climate initiatives. So they're going ahead with some of these things. Do you think they'd like to finally shrink the size of the federal government and use this as the opportunity, or are they hoping that we get things settled within the next couple of days, then that they don't have to do that?
Well, what they want is what's good for the American people and what's good for the country is a clean CR. The Democrats want to negotiate, like terrorists. They want to say this is what we have to have, and if we don't get it, we're going to close down the government. So what President Trump, Vice President Vance, and the Republican leadership want is for the Democratic side to show a little leadership. And I don't think it's unreasonable for the president to use all the levers. Because, Joe, what they are asking for, they're asking for $1.5 trillion increase in spending. And let's just go back. That would be almost as big as the ill-fated IRA, which caused the worst inflation in half a century. So they want to put this inflationary impulse into President Trump's already strong economy. The economy is growing at 3.8%. We don't need $1.5 trillion pumped in. The Democrats seem to love inflation.
But getting back to Joe's kind of premise on this, are these furloughs or job layoffs in the federal government, are those going to come anyway? Because that's what the Democrats have suggested, that the Trump administration is going to push forward with layoffs and with furloughs anyway, whether they do this or not. Is that true?
Again, it's a talking point. Senator Schumer, Representative Jeffries, they're weak, they're discombobulated, they don't represent the American people, and they're making up excuses. So we'll see. I think that this is an opportunity And they're using this opportunity. President Trump, in the first 9 months now, has been unstoppable. They've tried to stop him in the courts. They've tried to stop him in the press. And now they're trying to stop him with this shutdown.
Yep. Mr. Secretary, there's a piece yesterday, an op-ed piece in a journal, I think from the editors themselves, that said they were urging Republicans not to get soft on some of the Medicaid cuts that we saw in the OBB, and that they're starting to see some buyer's remorse from moderate Republicans in their willingness maybe to talk about extending these COVID-era Obamacare subsidies. I mean, the way Obamacare is right now, and I don't know, maybe you're good with, you were in investment banking, you can design something perhaps better, because that's why we're in this mess. That's why we need these subsidies right now, because it doesn't work the way it was intended. And all the unintended consequences of Obamacare are coming home to roost at this point. That's why we need $1.5 trillion to try to keep it afloat. Can you fix it? What would you do?
Well, Joe, what we're seeing is President Trump's leadership. We're seeing this, what's going to be a dramatic cut in prescription drug prices, which is one of the bigger parts of the healthcare budget. So President Trump is laser focused on that, negotiating with Big Pharma. And just to be clear, the spending cuts that occurred in the One Big Beautiful Bill were the largest in history, and we're not going to go back on them. That I came out from behind my desk and wanted to join the government to right the ship and get our fiscal house in order. We were left with a mess. It was the largest deficit when we weren't in a recession, weren't at war, and we are fixing the deficit. And there could be a discussion, but this isn't the way to have a discussion. Shutting down the government and lowering the GDP. We have a 3.8% GDP, and the Democrats shut down the government. That we could see a hit to the GDP, a hit to growth, and a hit to working Americans.
But do you see that as what finally gets this done at some type of concession for Republicans to extend those COVID era super Obamacare subsidies? Is that what Republicans should be agreeing to have Democrats agree for the CR, to vote on the CR? Is that the way it should be done?
Well, I can guarantee you there's not going to be an agreement to get the CR. There may be an agreement to have talks. This is going to be a clean CR. Okay. When Biden was president, the Republicans passed 13 CRs. We didn't close down the government. And again, as I said, what's changed between now and the spring? It's Senator Schumer's poll numbers, which are plummeting.